What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? I know there's a lot going on in the world with this COVID-19 virus, pandemic, whatever title they want to give it. But on March 31st last year was the day that Nip died. And it's been heavy on my mind with everything going on. I've been thinking about, it's been almost a year. It don't even seem like it, but I wanted to do something to show not only like bro talent, you know what I'm saying, but actually his mind state, what he was at the time. And that's very important to me because I think that's what we pass down to our children, the memories.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On your Grammy nomination for Victory Lap.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That sounds good.
Tell me about how you grew up.
I grew up in LA in the 90s, you know, in the Crenshaw district. You know, I was raised by my mom, grandma. She was real, just big on keeping a tight family and big on love.
Then 21, Nipsey talked about the roots of rap.
It comes from stroke. People gotta express their stroke. When you ain't got no other means of you know, liberating yourself, it's through spoken word and expression.
Well, Nipsey's Grammy nomination for Victory Lap was his first. I'm sure it won't be his last. And I just have to mention here, Jeff, that not only what he's done for music and starting on his own, making his own mixtapes, selling them out of his car, but he has built a WeWork center for kids and adults in the community besides the retail store that you saw.
Yeah.
And he's building a playground. He has plans to do so much, and he's already giving back to the people that live there, and the message is, you can do better. And I just think that it was important for people to know that.
Gang culture was what was going on.
In a crowded field of talented rappers, Nipsey Hussle stands out as an LA original.
I'm an urban legend, South Central in a certain section.
That was my home life. Then outside, it was LA in the 90s. Outside, it was a little chaotic.
Now, how old were you when you started writing lyrics?
Probably like 9.
I heard that you learned something in jail. You can make more money selling hair than you can selling drugs.
Yeah, that's a fact. I never met $100 million drug dealer. It's plenty billion-dollar hip-hop brands. There's a lot of things that are more profitable than drugs, but they're not as glorified and they're not as accessible to us. My real name is Ermias Ascadon. My first name means God will rise.
With this success, what do you plan to do with it?
My experience with power, you can maintain it or you get it taken from you. And you get you some newfound power and go crazy, it get taken from you quick. I try to just ground myself and be focused, and because it's easy to fumble.
So on top of that, we come from a real environment where it's a crab in a bucket mentality, where, you know what I mean, everybody doing bad. So when one person starts to move forward and you know, become a little bit successful, but you still within reach of these people, it's very hard, because, you know, you're dealing with the pressures of trying to be successful, as well as the pressure of people intentionally waking up to try to bring harm your way. You know what I mean? And try to stop you from doing that. Because if I grew up on the same block you grew up on, and we had the same trials and tribulations, but you became successful and I became a failure, it made me feel a certain way about myself. Because we had the same, we were dealt the same deck of cards. You know what I mean? So I feel like my success affects the people closest to me the most. A person that don't know me might root for me, you know what I mean, and be happy for me. And the person that know me and come from the same environment and had the same cards dealt to them, that keep going to jail, don't have no money, never made their parents proud or their mama proud, never did anything that they could look in the mirror and be proud of. You know what I mean? It make them feel a certain way, and it's intense. And that shit manifests into jealousy, hate, violence, you know what I mean? And it's deep, because it's a stigma about artists becoming Hollywood, especially street artists going Hollywood. But it's almost like, if you don't, you're gonna sacrifice yourself for the opinions of others. You know what I mean? Some people will look at you as, oh, you keep it real, instead of in your heart doing what you know you had to do to attain your goal. So like I said, it's a cold balance. I had to stop smoking weed, just because I need my whole mind. I gotta use my whole brain. I can't be how I make a decision. I gotta be fully sure. You know what I mean? But I had to cut a lot of people off. There's a lot of people mad at me right now. But, you know, I had to make a decision that I'd rather other people be mad at me than I'd be mad at myself.